See the question, does having my home in joint name protect the asset? So it was in the context of a webinar. I spoke on estate planning documents, wills, trusts, irrevocable trusts, revocable trusts, probate avoidance. And I mentioned the interplay of protecting your assets, preserving your assets, and applying for Medicaid. So a person asked, does having it in joint protect? Then I guess, it was an imperfect question. It was having a home owned in joint title. Well, if one person passes away, it goes to the other person automatically. Boom, operation of law. It will pass before the trust. It will pass before the will, before probate, because it's automatic. The document itself, the deed itself controls the ownership and the inheritance with respect to the portion of the home owned by the person that passed away. So it doesn't give you protection. It does avoid probate. However, protection, the best way to protect that for an asset protection view would be to have your portion of the home owned by an irrevocable trust. So I own a property jointly with my sibling. Sibling owns 50%, I own 50%. My 50% would best be owned by me inside of an irrevocable trust. Irrevocable. It's an I. Sounds like an E. That would protect the asset, and it would get the asset to where I want it to go. Say I wanted it to go to my spouse. My trust would say, in the event that I pass away and my spouse is alive, give this house, give this asset to my wife. That's a way to do it. So it's both protective and it governs the, who's going to get it when, in that instance, is when I pass away. Now, I could, in the alternative, keep it in trust and say, upon my passing, if my sibling remains living, I don't want the house to be sold. But upon my sibling passing away, then I want my share to go to my spouse and or my children. That might be a way to govern the house, forcing the sale. If that was this nuanced, fact-based circumstances. What are your facts? What are your circumstances? And how can I help you? Let's get the tie. Woo! Shirt and tie. Thanks. Is divorce mediation right for me? Yes, depending if there's no violence, no disparity in balance of power, there's no history of domestic violence, if there's no intimidation, if there's a level playing field, then I do recommend divorce mediation. I always ask my petitioning client, right, the plaintiff, the person that came into my office to file for a divorce. And I actually even ask the people that have been served with paper. The relationship that you have, obviously, I don't think I even used the word obviously. The relationship that you have is presently fractured because either you want to file a divorce case or you have received a divorce case. But is there a way through to the other side? Can you speak to a member of the clergy, a family member, an esteemed matriarch or patriarch of the family? Can you speak to a member of your community, your church, synagogue, mosque, an elder? Is there someone, either within the family that has that strong leadership role that can mediate? Or is there someone in your community that can mediate, or a clergy? And can you discuss the issues and the problems? If that's available, if that's a resource that's true to your own factual circumstances, then I recommend it. Marriage counseling, I recommend. So both the unpaid and paid option. It's a marriage counselor. It costs money. Perhaps it's covered in your insurance, health insurance plan. You should seek the services of that type of impartial person that can mediate conflict and find some kind of resolution. Then if that's not available, utilize the services of divorce mediator, a person trained, hearing the merits of a person's position, concerns, thoughts, beliefs, their position, and then hear the other person's position, perhaps find a mediated solution. You can save money, time. There's a way to structure your meetings, perhaps a series of 3 or 6 meetings, or 9, 12, depending on your assets, your family dynamic. 3 kids as opposed to no kids. Pensions and retirement accounts, a lot of assets as compared to few assets, right? So those are some of the things you should work through, and I do recommend divorce mediation, and it can be right for you. Take this as your circumstances permit. So if you have a certain power disparity and you can't get a word in edgewise, then you need an advocate. Put your position forward. Advocate. All right. Wish you a lot of luck. Try these other resources first. Reach out, take a look at the website, frankbrunolaw.com.